Hi everyone. So it's been a few days, I guess maybe even a week since I made a video. Um, Thanks for watching previous ones and leaving likes. My videos are quite unscripted and, they're not podcasts or I don't have guests. They're very much on the run, on the cuff, or, you know, spontaneous. So, I try not to ramble too much, but if you're interested, you can always click subscribe and leave a comment. Obviously, being um, generous and polite, let's say. As my mum said, sometimes it's better not to say things um, if they are harmful, particularly to keep them to yourself. And I sort of feel that. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I definitely have my struggles with the attitudes of certain people, um, bureaucracy. There's such a long list in any given week in my job, in the different kinds of things that I may be trying to carry forward for myself or for others in bureaucracies, for example. Um, the process can be exhausting when something is flagged or something is incomplete or something wasn't sent on, particularly in the third category when, for all intents and purposes, everything was done right. But somewhere along the chain, something got skipped, and then you end up having to step in and step up and try to resolve. Yeah, I won't go into specifics, but there's so many little messy, supposedly minor things in our lives that can go a bit skew-if. Everything from, I'm sure for those who drive who maybe get a traffic fine um, and, um, you know, other kinds of unwanted things that put a dent in their week. Someone who's really dear to me is currently facing a huge vet bill because of their unwell dog, and things are not looking great right now on both sides. It's a huge expense. When you're really close to dog, or in this case for me, I've had cats before, you basically act first, think later when it comes to the financial implications of overnight stays, for example. I remember when I came home late at night, after a long day of work, maybe at about 8 p.m., my cat was on the couch shivering, and that seriously freaked me out. But I immediately knew I had to go to emergency. And she had an infection, and luckily we were able to start her on antibiotics, and she recovered. But these things come at us sometimes all of a sudden, whether we be flush or whether we be struggling to pay the next month's rent. Now, after all that, let me just say I landed a house and it's more expensive than what I'm used to paying. But thanks to the contributions of people who contributed in part to my GoFundMe campaign, I managed to create a bit of a financial buffer. And I think I can see things going ahead. It's not far from here, but it's a house, and everything I have here is going to fit, although I'm definitely going to be doing the purge and pack in earnest over the next week, because I basically have 2 weeks. Having said that, there's still going to be hidden expenses, I know. There always are, and I'm going to be a bit tight, at least until the tax return. Don't we all love tax returns where we don't have to pay anything, but we get a good sum back? I actually work 2 jobs. I mean, look, I'm a member of the union. That's clear enough. This is a queer heart. It's from a queer Gestalt group that I was part of. keeping afloat, keeping ahead of things is always a challenge. And I'm no exception to that. But you've got to move forward, you know. Literally for me, I've got to move. And it's going to be on the 5th of June. So that sounds like a lucky date to me. What about you? And I just feel like this place is going to be a nice place of tranquility and rest. It's got a nice patio out the back. It's on a quiet street. It's centrally located. I honestly feel really lucky. They called me early on Monday morning and made an offer. And I'd only seen the place on Saturday morning. So there you go. Acting fast is important in these cases on both sides. Tonight, my partner's gone out to go and have pizza with one of his friends. He got citizenship. Amazing. It's such a culmination, and the ceremony itself was just beautiful. Especially the welcome to country given in the Gadigal language from a woman from the Metropolitan Land Council. She actually said parts of it in the Gadi language, and I was incredibly moved, and I felt tears coming to my eyes. There were about, I guess, 200 people from 80 different countries, and it went for a couple of hours, and I had to actually reschedule a class to attend, but my students get it. So I teach in this unit called Experiences in Multicultural Australia, and so even relating to them with respect to the form of the ceremony itself was kind of a teaching experience or a learning experience, or also for me. Never been in the town hall in Sydney. So yeah, we're near the end of semester. We finally closed off week 12 officially, and it's Friday night. Next week is the key week. Students are either doing tests in my language units, only one of them I teach into, and also finishing off essays and reports and stuff like that. And so these last few weeks have been tailored to that end. And obviously there's more to come, and hopefully we can also gather to celebrate in our respective last classes across the units that I teach. Southern Social Movements and Theory, Experiences in Multicultural Australia, Level 7 Spanish, and coordinating Level 5. It's not surprising that people around me and myself feel absolutely exhausted. I've been doing so much marking. I've been getting up early to do a big block of marking to shift that pile because there'll be more next week. And since it's such a peak time, I'm also mindful of the fact that I also need to be able to set aside other pockets of time to do the packing here. So yes, been here before, done that before. But in previous periods, that was outside of semester, so it's sort of an additional challenge, but not impossible. Yeah, so all in all, finishing up at Friday. Had some guests over for lunch today. I worked from home, but had lunch with some Mexican friends. And now I'm going to make some food. So my go-to's dal, palak tofu, rice, finishing off some stuff in the fridge, including the bag of spinach that needs attention. It's not past its date, but it's just, you can't leave spinach too long. So I'll hopefully warm up this place because it's really cold in Sydney. Anyone that lives in Sydney will attest to this right now. It feels like we've dramatically moved into winter. And when you don't have that kind of smoother transition, especially with the rain, like you feel a bit like it's a bit of a body shock, you know? Yes, so that's why I'm wearing all this gear. Here I have a top. I've got layers. I've got a shirt underneath, and I've got this big coat. And I'm wearing it inside because this place doesn't have great heating. There is a slender-looking heater upstairs, I believe, but it doesn't heat up the whole room. And you know, like it's expensive to run those little beasts. So that's something to consider. Anyway, I would just like to wish you all a great weekend or end of week, wherever you are in the world. And this is just a recount of kind of the last little while, and um, it's the stuff of life, you know. And some people have much greater challenges as well, I have to say. But anyway, thanks for listening, and tell me about your week. How have things gone for you? Really interested to know. Take care, all.